Three, two, one. All right, welcome into the Tech Territory podcast. We've got an exciting day for you. We have a new regular, hopefully Braden, and then we have Hokiology on Twitter to talk about the TFL podcast. We'll also get to some transfer portal additions since the last time we did this. We had a coach hired today. We've had some actually positive momentum on the men's basketball team for the first time this year. We'll do a little bit of women's basketball, but yeah, first we'll talk about the Twitter Football League. And Mr. Hokiology, if you could just give us a little background of what it is, because I think generally the three of us on here are pretty clueless. So start at the bottom.
Man, first of all, fellas, I just want to thank you all for having me on the show. I was looking back before I jumped on, and it's been about 3 years since I've got on a microphone and talked in front of Pokey Nation. And the fact that it's about the Twitter Football League, don't really know how to take that, but I'm going to have as much fun with it as possible. So, yeah, I know a lot of people are wondering what the hell is going on our timelines with all of this TFL content and getting tagged and having promotions. And honestly, I didn't know fully about it until I think it was earlier in the summertime when season 2 and season 1 was kind of wrapping up. And there was a bunch of different things going on with Hokie Nation and kind of the Hokie Twitterverse and all of the TFL startup. So to kind of give the main gist, what it is the Twitter Football League. It's pretty much a social media engagement driven league that's designed to showcase the greatest college football fan base in social media. So what it's kind of based off of is a regular scheduled season, just like football would actually be, of Twitter games. You're going to be playing weekly matchups against other promotion or other programs where you're competing for likes and engagements to show off your university and show off your program and show off your school to kind of claim that throne as the greatest college football fan base. I know that over the past couple seasons, there's been an interesting kind of backstory to the Twitter Football League. It started with a founder and the former commissioner. He kind of changed his profile around. He's now at Founders Athletics. He started the league to kind of boot up some college football engagement during the season when it was first kicking off. And, it went well. Season 1 did its thing. Virginia Tech kind of ran through the reins, went to the national championship under the reins of head coach VT Gobblers. If anybody knows Daddy Pry, I believe is his username or name on Twitter. Then season 2, if anybody knows the famous Joe Rogers, he took over as the head coach for TFL, kind of took them on, and then during playoffs he retired. I took over, and we're kind of in a new phase of the TFL. As I mentioned, the old commissioner went out after season 2 because there was a bunch of when you're on social media, you've got people that kind of just do things for themselves and they kind of want to just invest time, pointless time, honestly, in ruining something that could be fun. So there's people that go out and buy likes on Twitter and buy social media engagements to boost their numbers. And Virginia Tech ran into some scandals, and some previous coaches were blamed for buying likes and buying engagements on the internet, spending hard earned money on that stuff, which, by the way, is completely pointless. I don't know if any of you would take your paycheck and hop on the internet somewhere to buy likes on Twitter, but certainly I would not, and I do not condone anybody to do that. So this season's kind of a new season, and what we're doing is I want to try to help kickstart it off with a new look and a new presentation to it all. I know that when you think of a Twitter football league and you think of something that's based off of getting engagement, you're like, okay, it's going to be just a bunch of annoyingness practically. And while I could see that case, I believe that I can build something special with TFL Virginia Tech into giving back to Hokie Nation. So what I've done, as you see with our staff that I've assembled, is it's a bunch of some of the best Hokies on this app. And I've gotten them all together to support their passion and I guess showcase their passion for Virginia Tech on social media, gather other Hokies to kind of do the same. And the real goal of it all is to help build a community. I mean, when you think of a Twitter football league, it's silly, it's fun, it's really never that serious. So it's not like I can sit here and say this is something that I'm getting paid off of, because it's certainly not. If anything, I'm losing money because I'm just giving back to Hokie Nation, and that's kind of my reward in this all, is to be able to build a community throughout Hokie Nation. So our staff, we do different things like give away the sponsorship slots. That's what we're doing this season. That's a big thing that we're going to do. The sponsorship, actually, the podcast right here will be the sponsor for the preseason kickoff classic game against Tennessee, which will happen this Friday. So what will happen is the podcast logo, the podcast information will be listed on the official game post. Podcast will get an official shout out on the official TFL page, which is at TFL_CFB on Twitter. And then you'll also get that same thing week 6 when we play Tennessee again. And the big thing about the Tennessee game is that is the season 1 national championship rematch. Virginia Tech and Tennessee played for the season 1 national championship in the TFL, and they haven't played against each other since. So this will be the first time meeting up since that first season's clash. And we're looking forward to kind of kicking this thing off with a new spark and some new energy. This Friday, we're going to be doing, or excuse me, this Thursday night, we're going to be doing a live press conference on Twitter Spaces. It'll be on the TFL Twitter. Me and the Tennessee head coach, we will get together, and we're just going to talk about TFL and talk about what's going to upcoming for the season and what our goals are. Um, Really, there's not much to kind of deep dive into it, other than to say that it's a social media, I guess, experiment where it's building the community. Um, I don't know how much we're gonna get deep into this. I don't know personally how much farther I'm gonna do this, but I know that for season 3, I want to make it all out, and I want to knock a home run out of the park and get as many Hokies together and involved in something fun and give back as much as I can throughout this season in different types of ways. Um, and just see what we can make happen. The main goal is to win the national championship, but that's kind of a difficult task when you're going up against a program that can rack up 1,000+ Twitter likes like it's nothing. And I believe that's what they ended up both. I believe both teams neared 2,000 Twitter likes apiece for the national championship in season 2. So it's kind of hard competition with that type of engagement, but I believe when you can get a bunch of people together and make it fun, then it just kind of comes naturally because it's there. How do you win, I guess, would be the main question here. So there's a 5-hour game poll. It's going to get posted every single week against which team you'll be on. What'll happen is you'll see a bunch of people share this post. All you got to do is like it. All you got to do is share it, and that's your support for TFL Virginia Tech. That's your support for the Hokies, and that's kind of how you help us go towards the national championship. Anything
Got
else
it.
y'all got? Y'all got any questions?
So when we're talking about a game that's a 5 hour, is it a poll like Virginia Tech on the
So
top, Tennessee on the bottom?
they used to do polls, and that was the whole controversy between season 1 was, I guess, people were buying poll votes at first, and then they switched to likes because it's an easier process to, I guess, vet out the botted likes, because I guess there's a weight limit or some type of process in finding out what's actually bot likes compared to bot votes. So what it'll be is there'll be a thread. It'll say the original game post, and then underneath we'll have like this post to vote for Virginia Tech, or like this other post to vote for Tennessee. So just like the Virginia Tech post, share that post, tell other people to like it, and then at the end of that 5-hour period, whichever team has the most likes will win that contest.
Got it. Is there any kind of I've seen that we've got away games and home games. Is there any home field advantage actually, or is it just for
So
the.
no, the away and the home thing, actually, it was funny this whole process. I was reaching out to other head coaches, being like, "Hey, do y'all want to play home or away?" And they were like, I guess, does it really matter? And I was like, well, no, it kind of doesn't because we're on Twitter. But what my idea was just that being a way of enhancing the league for season 3 and making something else to add to this engagement with the fan base, letting people decide or letting our coaching staff decide where we go. I know that was really fun getting in the chat, talking to everybody of which stadiums we wanted to travel to, which teams we wanted to play at home, just different like conversations, and that was all that was for. There's no real home field advantage, no real away advantage. I'm sure that most of the coaches are like, okay, cool, we're playing at Lane Stadium. Some of us, we had back and forth, like Tennessee, we're unsure where we're going to play on week 6 just because that could be a number 1 versus number 2 matchup come down the line. So we'll kind of see where that goes, but it's just all for the fun and the presentation of it all, really.
Cool. Josh, Braden, any questions?
No, it sounds like a good off-season activity. I mean, I think
Yeah,
um,
yeah. It just sounds like good fun on social
that's
media in the off
that's
season.
my that's my goal is like off season football season ends and I want to keep something to keep that spike going. And with the TFL, honestly, in building a brand, like using the Hokiology page for the TFL Virginia Tech page, it helps us, I guess, put more eyes on the other sports because we're heading into the prime season of basketball. We're heading into these spring sports. We got wrestling going on. So while everything else that most people may not pay attention to, or the normal football crowd may not pay attention to, this will also be an opportunity to kind of put more eyes on Virginia Tech and whole as we head into the spring. The season, I believe, will last until probably June, I think is what the expected date was. So I mean, we're heading into a decent couple months here of just something to do on social media, something to help people grow brands. That's kind of my goal, is to reach out to as many Virginia Tech, as many Hokie Nation podcasters, content creators that we can, and just get people involved. Um, I know we've got VA Tech Edits helping us out with the graphic designs. He's going to be making us video edits. He's going to be making us graphics this season. So my idea with this is like with the podcast and getting the sponsors is just growing Hokie Nation, getting more eyes on the creators that are in Hokie Nation that are on Twitter anyways, and making Twitter fun. I know that there's a lot of toxicity that can run around on that app, but having something that can bring us together and building a nice little community, it's always never an issue.
Awesome, man. Yeah, we're excited. So are games weekly?
So yes, games will be weekly. Things have not, I guess we won't start until February. I believe February 13th and 14th would be the preseason, and then that following weekend will be the week 1. And then from there, we'll go every week. I think they're going to try to shoot for Fridays and Saturdays, or maybe just Fridays for the games. Um, and then until the season ends, and then you'll have playoffs as well, which I believe is a 16-team playoff is how they do their system.
Good gosh, how many teams are in it?
Oh man, it's actually insane to think about, but there's, I believe, over 120 teams
Good
in
gracious.
this league. Teams that I've never heard of, like I'm unsure if you all are aware of a program called George Fox. I believe it's a college out in Oregon, maybe. Don't quote me on that exact, but that's
yep,
one of the
you were right.
programs that's in
It's in
this
Oregon.
league. So there's some random fun stuff that you could pick up and do, and programs that people are going to try to build. I guess you could think of it as like the Twitter version of the new college football game. You can have your own dynasty on Twitter, try to build a dynasty on social media engagements. And in a way, I'm just trying to build a dynasty inside of Hokie Nation and get everybody on the same page and try to win a national championship, man. We need one. I don't care if it's on Twitter or not, but we'll take some kind of trophy, some kind of natty.
Sure, yeah, we're excited for it.
Yes, sir. I appreciate y'all once again for having me on, and I promise to everybody that we will not spam your notifications too much. I did post something about an anti-spam policy that the staff is going to try to follow, just so that the timeline isn't completely full of TFL. I know that's the goal, but at the same time, I know there's going to be some people that don't want involvement. So just if you don't want anything to do with it, don't hesitate to reach out, because I will do what I can to kind of make sure it doesn't cloud your notifications up or cloud your timeline up. And I understand the anti-spam and the spam hatred. Plus, I don't want to get banned, because I've had an account suspended for the TFL already just because of spam and people thinking I cheat because I build a culture of winning. And hey, that's how it goes. So I think everybody sees the blueprint here with over 30 Hokies on a coaching staff to try to win a Twitter Football League championship. And I definitely appreciate all for kind of supporting this craziness, because like I said at the beginning, it's wild to think that the Twitter Football League would be something that's buzzing this much. But I know that there's a bunch of podcasts around now heading into season 3 that are going to start talking about this more and starting building their brands more with the Twitter Football League, because in reality, it's perfect opportunity. You're spanning across the nation over multiple generations of fans, and you can connect with everybody. So if you're really looking to build your brand, this is the way to get involved. So don't hesitate to reach out. We can do sponsorship stuff. We can do shout outs. Completely down for that. My staff already knows I'm going to help them out as much as we can to support their brands and do that. But the plan is just to build a community of college football fans at the end of the day with all of this.
Cool. Well, yeah, we're excited about it and looking forward to it, and we'll all do as much as we can to make it successful.
Yes, sir. Well, I appreciate y'all for having me on. I know it's kind of crazy that the TFL Virginia Tech is kicking off the Tech Territory podcast, but that's how we're going to kick it off in style, just like season 3 will be. And these 3 guys are going to be joining us on the coaching staff as well. So I appreciate them for their help, and I look forward to this season. Shout out y'all once again, and go Hokies.
Go Hokies.
Go Hokies.
You're welcome to stay on with us as long as you'd like. We're going to move into transfer portal, but yeah, you said you may have something to do, so you're welcome to hop off.
Yeah, I'm going to have to run out of here now. Just everybody give everybody in here a follow. Definitely give fifth quarter Virginia Tech a follow. And just keep your eyes out on the timelines for more information that's going to be coming over the next week. I know this next couple of weeks as we get started is going to be fun. We're going to have a lot of different things coming out that I think everybody will enjoy. But yeah, keep your eyes out and go Hokies. I appreciate y'all once again.
Yep, sounds good. We'll be in touch.
Yes, sir.
Yep. All right. Well, thank you, Hokiology, for the Twitter Football League update. I know I'm a little bit more clear now on what's going on with that.
For sure.
So, actually, I think next I'm going to hit a quick ad. We have a light sponsor, University Traditions. They have all sorts of hats like this. I'm looking at their website now. It's universitytraditions.biz. They've got this for the Blacksburg collection. They have this hat. They also have a white one with the same logo. It's one of the rope hats. I'm looking at Norman, Oklahoma, Tuscaloosa, Alabama, Baton Rouge, Louisiana. They've got 20 or 30 different cities here with different hats, all good-looking hats, good quality hats. So we're glad to be partnered with them. Josh, do you want to hit us with the transfer portal update since the last time we were on?
Yeah, sure. Since the last time we recorded, we have added 4 new additions out of the portal. The first one after we recorded was Christian Ellis, a safety from New Mexico, completely out of nowhere. Nobody knew we were going after him, to my knowledge. I definitely didn't. And then another one is one that we talked about towards the tail end of the last podcast is Wake Forest wide receiver Donovan Green. We finally got him in the boat, got him signed, enrolled. I mean, he is a Hokie. And the big one that I'm incredibly high on, a friend of mine had him listed as his top transfer portal target for us. He was rated at one point by On3 a 95. That's Ben Bell, a Texas State defensive lineman. He was near the top of the charts in 2023 in pass rush rate, pass rush success rate, PFF pass rush grade. He played 4 games this past year before deciding to redshirt to enter the transfer portal, and in that time he had 3.5 sacks. and 6 tackles for loss. Just an absolute monster get. Outdueled Minnesota, Missouri, and Ole Miss to my knowledge. And the last one, the most recent one, which this one's even more out of nowhere than Ellis, is we added a third running back from the portal. That's Braden Bennett from Coastal Carolina. He averaged over 5 yards a carry and had over 800 yards this last year on the ground. He actually might have had over 1,000 total.
I'm pretty sure he did.
Yeah, it looks like a couple of solid pickups. I saw something. I think it was before these 4 ads. I won't be able to pull it up now, but it said it was like transfer portal ads with 70 or higher PFF grades.
Yep.
Virginia Tech was tied for first at that time with 8. They were tied with Mississippi State and one under. I don't remember.
I think it was Missouri. It might have been Missouri.
Mississippi State, Missouri, and Virginia Tech with 8.
I want to say so.
I know Ben Bell is like a 90, and I'd be shocked
Monster.
if any of the 4 of these guys are under 70, and if they are, it isn't by much.
Yeah, I think Donovan Green's below 70. If so, yeah, not by much. I'm pretty sure Ellis and Bennett are both over 70. Yeah.
Also, I just tried to look at the PFF website, and it is not very self-explanatory.
No, it's really not. It is really like you have to get to college NFL grades incredibly easy. To get to specific player college grades, it is incredibly tedious.
Oh, you also have to join, so you have to pay to get it.
Yeah,
You
I
have to
don't
pay
pay for
to
that.
look at PFF grades on
$10
for
a
college.
month? Hell with that.
As of now, we have 19 transfers in and 25 out, and with the way On3 ranked transfer portal classes, it weighs in the exits and the entries. So we've had a bunch of very good players enter. We've had monster, or not very good is generous with some of these guys that I'm about to name. Xavier Chaplin, Monsoor Delane, Mose Phillips, and a couple other guys who have ended up at Power 4 schools have entered and left, and we are still ranked as the 11th best overall transfer class in the country, second in the ACC.
Yep, second behind Miami, who's 4th in the country.
Yep.
Tech's 11th, SMU's 15th, Duke's 17. So, yeah, not only 11th and 2nd in the conference, and then Florida State's next at 25. We're well ahead of
third
of the pack, yeah.
Yeah. And if you took a look, nobody else in front of us had as many transfers out as we did. And I'd be willing to bet, I've not done a deep dive on this, that none of them had as many Power 4 commits enter and leave.
Yeah. 1-3 doesn't make a lot of sense sometimes either. There's a little green number in the top right that 74, 62, 57 for the top 3. No idea what it means.
No idea what it means. Yeah. These recruiting services all have their own faults. 247 is going to be best for high school. On3 is by far the best for the transfer portal, though. 247 does not do a good job with that.
Braden, so you weren't with us when we talked about the rest of the transfer portal. What's sticking out about this class to you?
Yeah, I mean, I like the last 4 guys we got. I mean, I think they could all probably start, at least 3 of them. And I think as far as Braden Bennett goes, he pretty good pass catcher. I watched today. I was sitting in class board. Can't really find his highlights too much, like on YouTube. But
it's the first day of class, dude.
Yeah. Syllabus.
Syllabus week, man.
Yeah, syllabus week. It's not a big deal, you know. But he's very good on the ground, but he can also catch. So I'm hoping to see kind of like a running back tandem. It's clear, obviously, like Stewart is going to be like the favorite to start, but Braden Bennett could be right up there with him. So hopefully we use them both, because obviously this year all you had to do was just lean on Tootin. Like, you just keep running him, you're going to do fine. But I really think you can get 2 running backs going. So I like Braden Bennett a lot. Their offense was not great, and I think he kind of carried. Ben Bell is a monster. I mean, like you said, I didn't think we were going after him at all. So he's a good addition. I'm kind of
Fantastic.
scared.
I knew we were going after him. I didn't. It was Christian Ellis. I didn't know we were going after, and Braden Bennett. Ben Bell, I followed incredibly heavily. Like I only knew though. I don't think it was very public. I only knew because I know people who were there, like helping, like aiding with his recruitment.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, I'm honestly kind of scared for ACC quarterbacks have to face us because between him and Jonkum, they actually might kill somebody out there.
Mm-hmm.
Um, they both
Instead of
look
just
terrifying.
APR, I think overall in two position groups, three actually, we've gotten marginally better than we were last year. That's safeties where we have three additions.
Four,
Yeah, three.
four, I think.
Reddish is listed as a DB, I believe. I don't know if he's listed as safety or corner. He's DB, but he's not going to
Okay.
start.
Yeah,
But
even
we
with
have
him, we
three
had four.
playable. That's Tyson Flowers from Rice. That's Christian Ellis from New Mexico State, and somebody help me with the other one. Sherrod
Isaiah
Koval.
Cash. Isaiah
Oh,
Cash.
and Isaiah Cash.
Yeah.
Sherrod Koval and Isaiah Cash. So that is four. That's on me. So four safeties. I think all of them play. We are very deep at safety all of a sudden compared to last year where we were. I mean,
And we have Quentin Reddish too. I mean, he's like
yeah,
kind of
Quentin
he's
Reddish as
raw,
well.
but he's
He's
obviously very good.
incredibly
He's going to be
talented.
great by
And
the
there's-
more
He's probably going to start.
There's some age in that safety class too. It's Christian
There
Ellis
is.
was class of 2022. Isaiah Cash was class of 2020. Tyson Flowers is 22. Sherrod Koval's 22. So these aren't like any true freshmen coming in. These all four of these guys are coming in with some
and are
snaps under their
proven.
belt, ready
Yeah,
to
three
play.
of them are very proven. Koval has had some injury issues and has not
But
played much at Clemson.
Koval's also out of high school was supposed to be by far the best one of them. But he has battled some injuries at Clemson, so he doesn't
And
really
I
have
would
the.
not be shocked. I would not be shocked if I believe he has a red shirt available. I heard from somebody, not like a super reliable source, but that the idea has been or could be floated that use this season, put some weight on him, and he's a star linebacker.
So
In the
he
future.
has 22,
Even this season, if he puts on 10 pounds, 10, 15 pounds, he could be.
Yeah, it looks like he's got 2 years to play one. Maybe. Stats are hard to look at sometimes.
Yeah, they are. I don't know if I don't think he's redshirted. Maybe he has, maybe he hasn't. But
You've got
I wouldn't
22,
be shocked
23,
if
and
he's
24. He had 14, 10, and 12 tackles. So
okay. So he does have a red shirt, unless he played in less than 4 games, in one of those years in which he has 2 years.
I'd be surprised if he had double-digit tackles in 4 games.
Yeah. As a safety, that's a problem if that's the case.
Yeah. Well, it's not.
Yeah, I
But
would
yeah,
agree.
we have
that
safeties
the
where we
safeties have
are.
gotten better.
Safeties
Just
gotten
looking at it.
marginally better
Yeah.
overall.
It might not be too. This might be a bold statement. From top to bottom, the running back room might be better.
It's deeper.
Oh, not even close. That's
it's
the next
deeper.
one I was going to say. The running back room is much better. We have 6 guys that I would not be upset with being RB1 all of a sudden.
Yeah.
And
last year it was Tootin and nobody.
Yeah, Overton is a monster. I think that he will. If we didn't have 3 portal guys, I think he'd really be pushing Stewart. He'd be the one pushing Stewart for the starting job. I also really like Mason and Coney as well. So we have 3 portal guys: Overton, Mason, and Coney. That's 6 guys that I would not be upset, all of them, if they were RB1 this year.
Yeah,
and the other spot that I was talking about, the third one, D end. We were at APR, and then Cole Nelson and Keyshawn Burgess off the edge, who were by no means bad, but they weren't great. They were, they probably, I think the opposite side of APR, the D ends that Nelson and Burgess that shared that had 10 sacks combined over the last 2 years. It's nothing special compared to APR, who had like 26, I think. If we can get good pass rush from both sides, and then we also have Nash coming up the middle, this D line could be really good.
Gosh, I want I want Burgos to be good so bad. He
I want him
looks-
to be good.
He hasn't,
looks
he hasn't developed
so bad.
as fast as I thought he would. Because I feel like he didn't start in 2022, but he like contributed a good bit, right?
He contributed
And
a little bit.
Like I
He
feel like
started in 23 and 24.
yeah.
In 22, if you told me that Cole Nelson and Keyshawn Burgos would not be the two starting defensive ends
Yeah.
coming into this year, I would have called you crazy. But neither of them
Yeah.
are going to, most likely, neither of them are going to start. And I mean, especially with Keyshawn Burgos, like I was incredibly high on him. Like when like the spring of 23, before the 23 season, I said that he was going to be an All ACC player once. Not a good take of mine. But I was really high on him for a while.
He wins the getting off the bus though.
Yes, he does.
6'5",
yeah, he does.
260. He looks the part. He's got this year was his breakout year. He had 33 tackles, just a half a sack. Last year, 23 had 17 tackles and 2 sacks, and then in 22 he had 3 tackles. So he may. Yeah, he's got a red shirt available. He did not red shirt in
I don't
22
think he red
year,
shirts.
but he wouldn't. No, I mean unless he gets hurt after like 3 games, then
yeah,
he's got a shot to do that. But no, he won't. He'll be a contributor this year.
Yeah,
that
for
does
sure.
suck though. It would be really nice if he did red shirt.
Yeah,
I guess that's
it
what
would
happens
be.
when your team is really shitty for a year, a year or two.
Yeah,
Going back, I don't know if y'all talked about this before, but the other thing about Stewart is like he had great numbers. He's very good. Bowling Green also had Harold Fana Jr. I don't know how much y'all know about him.
mm-hmm.
He was the tight end that led the country in tight end like yards per carry, receptions, and yards. I think he might have been better than Tyler Warren, but like they had him as a weapon, so they kind of leaned on him. I know that's an out there take. I think he's better than Tyler Warren.
Yeah, that better than Tyler Warren was a little bit extreme. He's a first round guy in my opinion. I have a first round grade on him, but better than Tyler Warren's a little extreme. Tyler Warren might be better than Brock Bowers.
But hey, we've got 2 running backs coming in. Stewart's averaging 5.4 yards a carry last year, and Braden Bennett was 5.8. So I don't really care who you're playing against. Those are pretty good averages. Both in D1.
Yeah,
football.
I think I know what we need to do next year to win football games.
Run the damn
There's
ball.
a hat that I need to get that Seth SWVA shop sells it. Just rope hat, run the damn ball.
They have that.
Unfortunately, it's like $45. I don't have that kind of money.
No, we should run the triple option. It would be awesome.
I wouldn't hate it like once or twice.
Yep.
Fuck it, wing T.
And Marcellus Hawkins was University of Central Arkansas. I don't know if they have very good
Central
statistics.
Missouri.
That's right.
Central Missouri, yeah.
It's NAIA, so I know with like the new like the Pavia and the JUCO ruling, since he only did NAIA, does he have 4 years?
It's D2, so it's not NAIA, it's D2.
Oh, I thought it was NAIA D2.
No,
okay,
he's a
that's what it
D2
was.
guy.
I believe it's only JUCO that got that. That
Gotcha, I
doesn't
thought
count
he
against.
He was but that makes sense.
Yep.
6.4 yards per carry over 18 games and 3 years.
That's pretty solid.
Now that's 2 games in 2022 and 3 in 2024. So
some injury issues or some late in the season.
Maybe injury issues.
Yeah.
2022, I'd imagine he was just young. In 2024, either an injury or decided to redshirt and transfer, which I wouldn't be shocked at either.
Well,
But 2022, 1,000 yards, 18 touchdowns, 6.7 yards a carry. I mean, good player.
Yeah. So Braden, looking forward in the transfer portal, what positions do you think, in your opinion, are of need?
Definitely linebacker. I mean, we need help, and at least what I've heard about.
So when the eligibility of one of them's in question right now.
I was going to say. The more I read into
his eligibility won't have a problem. It's if Pry wants to really make an example, he can. I don't think he will. Maybe like suspend him, like dismiss him from the team for like a week or something, or like make him whatever happened to Pop Watson in 23
Wasn't
when he
Pops
got
like
in
missing
trouble, something
curfew
like
or
that.
something? It
Pop missed
wasn't.
curfew, yeah.
It wasn't a
The DUI.
DWI. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we'll see.
It's also, I mean, this has happened a million, something like that.
Yeah,
has happened
it's a
Oh,
coin
yeah.
flip.
times.
Like
So
what programs will do? Like Georgia doesn't do anything, but
I would if I
Frank
was
Beamer-
Georgia
Pry.
already. I heard that Georgia already called him.
I wouldn't be surprised.
If I was Pry, I mean, you got to win football games, but you
Sure.
got to raise young men to just run his ass for like 2 weeks,
Yeah.
like put him through
Yeah,
hell.
that's
like,
what I think's gonna happen. Like, just like make him go through spring ball, and then like beginning of summer ball, August, throw him on the band field and just make him run.
just run the bleachers for like 2 weeks straight. Like,
Yep. No, band field. Make him run turf. Make him run turf.
oh, is that
No,
worse than bleachers?
Oh wait, yeah. They're both bad.
Lane Stadium's tall on the east
Lane
side.
Stadium's tall.
Yeah, I was gonna say like I want to win and like people make mistakes like, but I know Frank Beamer would kick him off because he was super strict, but
It was not. I don't know if you guys know this. It was not alcohol.
yeah,
It was marijuana.
yeah,
I'm still terrible thing to do. Should not do it. Not as bad as alcohol. So just make him run bleachers for 2 or 3 weeks. Put him through hell.
yeah.
Make
If
sure
you
no one else
went through
does
the
it.
process of trying to get him here, like keep him.
I believe he
We
is
need help.
enrolled as well. So there's not really. It's not like you can just not take him at this point. He's on campus.
No, and
But,
he'll get an attorney that if it's his first offense, which I guess we don't.
It said
know
it
for
was.
sure.
I think.
It'll
At
get,
least
it'll
something
get
I
thrown
read.
out.
But yeah, so why do you think it's because of the question about Bass that we need linebacker help? Well, I'm curious on that.
Well, yeah, that's kind of what I was pointing at. I didn't know if I could
Okay.
say it, but yeah.
Oh, it's public. Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, there's a Roanoke Times article, but yeah, that's what I was pointing at. Was
Yeah, TSL, TLP, everyone has an article on it at this point.
Yeah. So that's mostly what I was he projected to like play star? Is that what
He's
people were
probably
saying?
going to play well,
Okay.
to my knowledge.
I know like linebacker is probably like the thing I know the least about, but just
Yeah, it's
the-
really, really complicated.
Yeah.
The
I know
linebackers
middle
and
and
safeties
outside.
are the two hardest.
I
Middle
got
and outside.
middle and
I know
outside.
I know what Madden raised me on.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Once you get into Star and Will and
over
Mike,
time.
Nickel, it's
Well, Nickel's a corner.
Yeah.
well, yeah.
Yeah.
But to my knowledge, Caleb Woodson's playing Mike or middle linebacker, or he probably will. Keller was going to be behind him. We were going to have who was going to have start? It was going to be Caleb Spencer and Noah Jenkins behind him, and then it was going to be Jordan Bass and there's a couple guys that could fit there. Clatterball, Noah Chambers. Noah Chambers could even fit at Mike. I wouldn't be shocked if Noah Chambers starts at Mike this year. He's really good. But yeah,
like
linebacker's
Clatterball
very up in
a
the
lot.
air, but I don't think we need to take any more unless we can get a guy that we don't need a warm body. If we take a linebacker, it needs to be somebody that can play.
Yeah.
I feel like we're good at quarterback, obviously good at running back, wide receiver room. As long as Fontel Mines is on the coach, I'm not going to be worried about them. On defense, linebackers, at least the top end is there. Maybe a depth piece or two.
I don't think you need a depth piece at linebacker. You've got plenty down there. If you look down the board,
sure, especially now that we're close to the scholarship limit too for the spring. Now that might be expanding to 105 later, but
it's expanding to 105 in June 1st. I think, like I said, if you take a linebacker, it should be a guy who's going to battle for a starting spot. I don't want a warm body at linebacker.
Yeah.
Corners. I don't know if we're too deep at corner. What have we taken?
We're not super deep. We've only taken one that's going to play. That's Isaiah Brown-Murray from ECU.
I'm sure a couple of those safeties could slide over too.
A couple of safeties definitely could. and Cheetah is a very good recruiter as well, or very good evaluator, I'd say is a better way to put it. I think we're good at corner. I wouldn't hate if we took one more out of the portal. Safety, we're obviously good too.
Yeah.
All that to say, I want a couple more offensive linemen, maybe
Yeah.
maybe one more defensive lineman, but yeah, OL. I don't know. Give that new coach like 20 different guys to pick the best
Yeah.
five.
I mean,
Yep.
he's a fantastic. What does he coach? Like 3 All-Americans in 5 years or something like that.
Something like that, yeah. He's
I
had
mean,
a lot.
that's
He's had a lot of
that's
very good offensive lines
pretty
at West Virginia.
impressive. You know, and I get the big. I wouldn't say they're like the offensive line like conference, but I mean, there's a lot of good, nice big corn-fed boys in the Big 12. So,
Yep.
he's good at what he does. I just, I hope we don't. If the production isn't there this year, I hope we don't. I don't think they'd fire him, but I don't want the fan base to turn on him because he obviously knows what he's doing. But he's
It's a
not
college football fan base.
I
They'll turn
know,
on him if it's not
but
there.
people need to know he's probably one of our more qualified staff members.
100%.
Yeah, and I like Altuner. I mean, he actually ended up finishing out with a higher transfer rating than I want to say Wyatt Milam. That's the guy who's still Rymack. That's his name. Which
That one just made no
think
sense.
he's a little. Also,
not on 0-3.
It was 247. The way 247 works, Ben Bell was a 94, and then when he committed, he dropped down to an 86, and now he's up to a 90. I mean, if he committed to Georgia, his numbers probably would have gone up. So it's all messed up.
Ben Bell's an absolute monster.
Yeah, but I like Altuner a lot. I like that we probably have like competition at center. I wasn't upset with Nida, whoever played in the ball game. He did all right, I guess. But he's a walk-on.
It was supposed to be Tommy Ricard starting for the bowl game. He had strep throat, is what I heard. I don't know how. I know he was sick. I don't know if it was strep, but I know he was sick, so that's why he didn't. That's why he didn't play. So I think it'll be Ricard and Altuner. Is that how you say it? Battling for that center spot.
How in the world is 247 justifying Altuner being an 88 and Remack being an 86?
Yeah, and he was an all Big 12. That's what I'm talking about.
That's wild. Now 0-3 has Remack at 92 and the 18th best transfer and the number one interior offensive lineman.
There was a point in time
seems fair
where Ben Bell on 247 was the 4th highest ranked, behind like Casey.
That was on 3.
Oh, was it? Okay.
It was on 3. On 3 did the whole fluctuation. I think there was a mistake when they dropped him to an 86 because he was a 90
right now.
He was a 94 and change before committing, and then a couple hours before committing, he dropped to like an 86, and then got raised back up to a 90 after committing.
Yeah, that was like, what the hell does that happen? As far as like veteran offensive linemen go, like I'm honestly pretty happy about like the younger guys that are going to develop, the ones that we've recruited. But like I love Bob Schick because he's cool and he's old. Not on the field. I'm talking about like his demeanor. Like he's got a beard, but on the field, I mean he might be better, like worse than Parker Clemens.
Bob Schick will probably start. He's not terrible. He's not good. He's a little below average.
His grades are bad.
His grades are not good.
The eye test is better than
the eye test is better. I don't like PFF offensive line grades for interior offensive linemen because like there were plenty of plays where you'd see an offensive lineman like on a screen like 30 yards downfield and he'd have nobody to block because there's a breakaway play like the Xavier Hunter Bradshaw reverse against NC State when Xavier Chaplin was 30 yards downfield, had nobody to block. How do they grade that? He didn't touch anybody the whole play, but he didn't do anything. I mean, there was a touchdown. He did his job. So I'm not a big fan of PFF offensive line grades at all, especially on the interior offensive line. Bob Schick isn't god awful. He's nothing special. He's below average. But if he's starting next year, if he's our worst starter next year, I'll be very happy.
Yeah, and he might be able to get more years because he did JUCO. He might be 30 when he's done here because I think this is technically his last year that he can play, but he did like
because he went on a mission.
He went on a mission for a couple years. Then he did JUCO, and then he came here like 2 years ago or 3 years ago or something.
Who was that guy for Tech a couple years ago that was here for like 9 years? It seemed like
Silas
offensive lineman.
Janzi.
No, it was Tyrese or something. Maybe I'll find it. It may take me a few minutes, but I'm sure he was like on the 2019 roster.
I don't know who you're talking about off the top of my head. Immediately 9 years, I thought about Silas Janzi because he had so many opportunities to start, and then like we'd have an NFL tackle just come in as a true freshman and start. Like he was like Silas Janzi was supposed to start as like a redshirt junior in 2018 or something, redshirt sophomore, and then Xavier Chaplin was like the best offensive tackle in the NFL now.
I can see the guy's face.
But
You mean Darius? You talking about Darisaw?
no, he's not talking about Darasol.
No,
No, you. Yeah, whatever.
Oh, what me?
Yeah, you said
Yeah,
Chaplin.
Oh, did I say Chaplin? Yeah, I meant Darasol.
Tyrell
not
Smith.
Chaplin. Oh, isn't he in the
Oh, I know
NFL
you're
now?
talking about.
Oh, I doubt it. I imagine he's coaching somewhere.
Let me check. Okay, no, I'm thinking of somebody else. I
Yeah, I don't
found his
know. I
LinkedIn
don't know
page.
what he's doing now, but yeah, he was. I remember when he got his last year. Everybody, yeah, he was enrolled at Tech in 2014,
Oh,
and yeah, he did 7 years. 2021 was his last year. He's one of 8 FBS players entering their 7th season at the same school in 2021 because he got the COVID year.
He almost played under 3
Yeah.
coaches here.
Yeah,
That would have been crazy.
no, he wouldn't.
was-
If he was 2021 was his last year, he didn't make it to
He was
Prime.
here for him getting hired, I guess.
Well,
I don't know.
actually, no, he did. He was here for J.C. Price, that head coaching stint. So he played for 3 different head coaches at Virginia Tech.
I wonder.
Yep.
I doubt there's anybody ended up playing for all 3. Who knows?
No, there's
I
not.
don't think so.
Yeah, I mean there might have been if somebody started in 15. Well, he appeared in all 14 games in 16. He's redshirted.
Probably special teams.
I don't know what he did. He enrolled in Tech in January after a semester at prep school. Went through winter workouts and spring practice. Posted a 350. I don't know what 14 was, but
So hold on,
15
he gray shirted.
maybe.
He got
And
a,
if he went to a prep school after
so
graduating
14.
high school?
14. He went to a prep school. Yes. Yes. So then he was
So
here
he
in
was
January.
what 26 when he finished.
Probably. Yeah.
Good
So
Lord.
So 15 he redshirted, and then 16 he appeared in all 14 games. 17 played in all 13 games. 18 played in all 13 games. 19 played in each of the first 4 games before being sidelined with an injury. Eventually received a medical red shirt. And then team captain who played in 10 games in 2020, primarily saw duty on the punt coverage. And then he appeared in all 13 games, starting 1 at right tackle, saw reserve duty at right tackle at West Virginia.
how did he have that many years? Like, why not starting a few special teams, but like that many playing that many? Yeah, he played a lot of games.
He did play a lot of games, yeah. But yeah, I remember when it got announced that he got another year of eligibility for 21. Everybody was like, "Oh my god!"
That's crazy.
Yep.
Have y'all
But,
talked about Donovan Green at all, or no?
Yeah, go for it.
Not too much. We didn't touch on him
Okay.
much. Good receiver. I mean, we needed to add a proven receiver with some age. I mean, now what? You'll have Aiden Green being receiver 2, receiver 3. With Donovan Green will be receiver 1, and Cam Sheldon will be probably receiver 2 or 3. And then you'll see what Keelan Adams and I'm just blanking all of a sudden.
Chance.
Chance Wiggins, and then a bunch of the freshmen be behind them.
I'm not
And Taki
convinced
Heath, too.
on Chans yet. I want to give him time. I'm not
Chance is
fully
a monster.
convinced.
Chance is a monster.
But yeah,
But I
Donovan
think
Green's just got to stay healthy.
yeah, I think that covers everything. We do still have to go over the defensive coordinator hire or update. We did make a strength and conditioning hire. It was Jared Ferguson after we fired Dwight Galt. Jared Ferguson and interior or internal hire. Really good hire. I don't have much else to say about that. Do y'all
Seems
have
like
anything?
the outspoken guys on Twitter, such as like Eric Kuma, said I saw he tweeted that this guy should have been the strength and conditioning coach from the beginning.
Oh yeah.
Kumo's tweet was kind of funny. He said didn't have to deal with that bald guy at his ass anymore, something like that.
Jeez.
But yeah,
no,
Jarrett Ferguson, I believe he
players
was a fullback on the national championship team, and then has
Yeah.
been on just before 2015. I didn't pay ultra close attention to Virginia Tech football, but this Jarrett Ferguson guy studied under Gentry, who apparently seems like a very highly thought of strength and conditioning guy at Virginia Tech. I don't know anything about him, but from what I'm seeing on the message boards and on Twitter, that guy had a very good reputation. And Jarrett Ferguson, hopefully, is I think the plan was for him to bring back some of that mentality and structure and whatnot.
Yeah, I'm incredibly high on that hire. I'm a big fan of it.
Yeah, this is kind of like, it's not the most important news, but I saw Daquan Felton and Ollie Jennings have been studying film with John Gruden. He's been bringing some guys in. I don't know if it's like prep for like those draft interviews where they, make you sit down and, look at plays and stuff. But last week he had Daquan Felton and today he had Ollie Jennings. But I mean, there was other good guys with him, like Juice Wells and guys like that. So
those guys are trying to get on the Barstool payroll.
Yeah, for real. Yeah, but
y'all seen that Gruden's on his Barstool now?
I have not seen that.
I love those videos. They're hilarious.
It's pretty comical. He goes into the Chicago office, and I mean, y'all know Barstool is just a bunch of nobody, non-athletic people, and he's on their basketball court running like actual NFL plays. It's hilarious.
Yeah, I'm asking him to he's calling out plays and stuff. It's so funny.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He's
Yep. So yeah, I mean, strength and conditioning. I think that's kind of the guy everybody assumed it was going to be from the beginning. Don't know why it took so long, but also it didn't change anything that it took so long. So that's what we got. Do y'all have any ideas on DC? Any thoughts?
The first thing I want to mention is I don't remember who's the name of Tim Banks. Is what I'm thinking of. Tim Banks re-signed at Tennessee. I have gotten confirmation that there was a conversation that was more than just a phone call. We extended a very, very big offer, and Tennessee just responded with like an absolutely unbelievable, unbeatable offer. And I mean that kind of ended that. But there was more than just one phone call made, like I expected. It looks to me like Poindexter is kind of out of the conversation. Defensive coordinator. The names that I have heard in the last 24 hours that have weight are Matt Walton at Ohio State, Matt Gieri, the safeties coach at Ohio State, and I think it's Lyle Hemphill, the defensive coordinator at JMU. Are the three names that I've heard that have a lot of weight. The one that I've heard has the most is Matt Gieri.
Which that would make sense on timing. The Hemphill guy, I feel like Tech could get him at any time.
I'm not high on him.
I mean, coming from JMU, that would be, I don't know. I want somebody from a blue blood program, somebody that's got experience at the highest level of college football. Do you know what's Gary's background? Has he been a defensive coordinator in the past?
He has been a co-defensive coordinator at Duke and a co-defensive coordinator at Indiana. And you can see if you do some deep diving, he has had some play calling duties. He has not been a member of a good defense, albeit or a good defense as a co-defensive coordinator. He was a safety coach at Ohio State this year, and those safeties were incredible. Caleb Downs is one of them. If you do a deep dive, you can see that the defenses that he called were not good at all, but he was at Duke circa mid-2010s and Indiana in 2021 or 2022. Those are sometime in the last 3 years. Very, very bad teams. So I don't know exactly what to take away from it. I'm not taking anything away from his time at Indiana, because it was 1 year. It's a very bad team, and 1 year bad team, and they also play in the Big Ten. So I'm not taking anything away from his time at Indiana. Now the 4 years at Duke, I've taken a little bit away from it. I'm not a massive fan of Gieri, if we were to hire him, I'm not saying that I hate it. I don't. He's an average at best recruiter who will, and if I'm being honest, I think he'll run an average defense here. I don't love the hire. I don't hate it. I want Matt Walton.
Yeah. I had heard a discussion of like them kind of coming as a tandem. I don't know if that holds any weight or that's true. Like both of them.
There's definitely weight behind it. It would be Walton and Gieri as co-DC.
Is it Tim Walton?
Gieri,
Yeah, Tim. He's the
Tim
one.
Walton,
He
yeah.
he was like a DC for the Rams at some point.
Rams and DB's coach for the Jaguars when Jalen Ramsey was there during the
Okay.
Saxonville year.
Um, I don't know if this is true, and I hope it's not, but that there was like maybe discussions with Jeff Collins and
I've
and
I've heard those just get like wiped out. I don't hate that hire. He was a
I
he's a very good defensive coordinator.
he might be the one probably top three worst Power Five head coaches ever
We're not
at
hiring a
Georgia
head
Tech.
coach. To my knowledge, he's not even in the running.
That's good.
If it was him, he would
So
have been hired by now.
yeah, I would say
And if it
he would
is
have been
him, it's
hired.
because we missed on somebody that there was a
Everybody
reason we
else.
couldn't get, such as they were coaching that championship game.
Yep.
Like I made a tweet back in late December that said every day the coaching search goes on, the more and more likely it is to be Anthony Poindexter, which I believe after Penn State got knocked out, every day that goes on now without an announcement, it's less and less likely that it's Anthony Poindexter.
Yeah.
And more
Seemed like
likely
that's
that
who
it's
everybody thought it was going to be right around the first of the year, and now
yeah, and
that's gone.
to my knowledge, he was never in for it. So yeah, after Penn State got eliminated, every day that went by, it was less likely to be him and more likely to be somebody that's currently at Ohio State and Notre Dame. I've not heard a name from anybody at Notre Dame. I've heard the two Ohio State names, and that's about it.
And those
I don't
are
know who.
go
Huh?
ahead.
Go ahead. I was gonna say I don't know who it would be at Notre Dame other than their DC, and he's not coming here.
No,
So it's not nobody at Notre Dame. I'm sure.
he's more likely to go NFL than he is to go anywhere but
I
Notre Dame.
think the Bears
Yep.
were talking about him or something.
Yeah, I'm
I don't
sure.
know. Somebody will take him.
Yeah, but I don't know. I like the youth, but also the youth is scary. The Guerreri guy's 35. So you'd hope young, energetic, get out on the recruiting trail. Somebody that these guys could relate to more than a 70-year-old coach.
He's 35.
Yep.
Means he was 25 as a co-defensive coordinator at Duke.
Yeah, which is crazy.
Yeah, it's insane.
So yeah, very young. Walton, he's older. He's 53. Which still, I mean, that's not old by any means. But yeah, Guerreri, yeah, he's 35, and he was the safeties coach at Duke in 2015.
Wow.
Yeah, that was 10 years ago.
So yeah, if we were to hire Gieri, then Pearson Prelude would be out. If we were to hire Walton and Gieri, I don't know exactly how the staff would shift around because Walton's a DB guy, and so is Gieri, and so is Cheetah, and so is Prelude. We're not going to demote Cheetah. He's probably the second or third best coach on the staff. We would be willing to demote Prelude. There's been smoke around that for a month, 2 months now. But yeah, I to my knowledge, it's most likely Gieri, and to my knowledge, we should know sometime soon.
Yep. Agree with that.
Yeah, hopefully by the end of the week we know something there, and everybody will get pissed off about no matter who it is.
Oh yeah, people will be pissed off. I'll bet $50 right now that Joe Rogers said something on Twitter that is not of good taste.
It seems like a lot of people on the boards and stuff like that are like, freaking out. It's like if it's a guy at Ohio State, he wasn't gonna get hired anytime before today.
Yeah.
So there's no why are we freaking out?
Yep.
Yeah,
and
I'm not mad about it taking a long time. Probably knows he has to get this hire right.
Yep.
Our defense.
This is gonna make or break his.
the reason people were saying it needs to get done is defensive transfer portal recruiting, and defensive transfer portal recruiting has not been a problem. So
No, it is not.
yeah,
Like at all. Like, hold on, let's just a second. Let's see. Our portal guys include on the defensive side of the ball. Never mind, it's not loading. A lot of very good football players.
yeah, probably about half or more than half are.
I think more than
defensive
half. I think
players.
13, 12.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's football. That's transfer portal. That's the coaching changes, and I think that's the big news right now in football. So let's move on. Men's basketball. Since we met last, they had a win streak. They won 2 games in a row. I mean,
Yes, they did.
Good for those guys. They won January 11th at Cal, 71-68. I didn't get to watch that one, but I believe I did check the score at halftime, and they were up by like 20. And then I saw somebody on Twitter say, "Oh, they eked that one out," and I was like, "What the shit happened?"
We were down by 2 or 3 with they just went on a run. Conditioning or something.
Yeah.
We had it in the bag, and then we almost choked it. But
yep. Then followed that up with a win against NC State in outstanding fashion. I believe Jaden Shute got fouled with 2 seconds left and hit
something like that.
Hit both free throws to give. They were down 1. He hit both free throws to give us the 77-76 lead, and then Ben Burnham stole the inbound pass with 2 or 3 seconds left and dunked it home for the 79-76 win. That was a win streak. That's a win streak in conference play already at, I believe, 3 conference wins now, which is more than some people predicted at the beginning of the season, especially after some of those losses or the one loss to a group of 5 school.
It was not a group of 5. It was a mid-major. It's Jacksonville.
Okay, there you go.
I don't even know what conference they're in.
Yep. So already doing better than expectations were back in the middle of December. And honestly played a decent game against Wake. Wake kind of ended up pulling away at the end and kind of kept keeping Tech at arm's length, but they made a couple of runs to make it close. They ended up losing that game by 9, 72-63. But Wake's a damn good basketball team this year.
Yes, they are.
Yeah,
they're going to win a lot of games. They could push for one of the top 4 seeds in the ACC tournament. But yeah, I wasn't upset about that Wake game. They were competitive against a very good team.
Their roster's better than ours, and I don't want to say they're better coach than us, but they have a good coach. Like NC State,
they're not better coach than us.
But they have a good coach. Is what I'm saying. NC State,
they have a good coach.
Does not, and so Wake, they had the advantage personnel, and I wasn't expecting us to win that at all. So we did well.
Yeah, and I mean it was. There were times in the second half where you got a little bit excited that maybe Tech will pull it out, but then Wake just kind of kept Tech at arm's length and never. I don't think Tech ever took the lead in the second half, but it got down to under 5.
I think we led by 1 or something like that.
Yep. So then upcoming the 22nd, that's going to be tomorrow night. They travel to Atlanta in a very winnable game. Georgia Tech's 8-11. 2-6. I haven't really paid attention to them at all. Just not playing very good basketball. So if Tech's going to be a middle of the road ACC team this year, that's a game they got to win.
Yeah.
And then go ahead.
I was saying this team is not nearly as bad as I thought they were going to be. I'm incredibly impressed with the coaching job that Mike Young has done. Might be the best one that he's done in his tenure at Tech. Back
in November and December, I completely lost interest in this team. They did not look good. They were not fun to watch. 90% of the games, I would be scrolling through Twitter and I would see David Cunningham tweeting about the game, and that's how I knew the game was happening.
Yep.
There were plenty of games like that I just had no idea were going to be on.
Yeah.
Watching them now, they're a little bit of juice. They're exciting. They could go out. They could go out and win any game.
Yeah, I'm a big basketball fan. I really, really enjoy well-coached basketball and good fundamental basketball, getting open shots, passing up a good shot for a great that kind of the basic stuff, good defense, all of that. We didn't do any of that, and it genuinely made me sick. We looked like a high school team of a bunch of guys who were just trying
a game
to
for a while.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it looked like we were just trying, like a bunch of high school guys trying to put film on tape so they could go play at community college.
it wasn't even like, yeah, I knew we were going to lose to Michigan and Penn State in the non-conference, but the non-conference play, barring like the first two games, I think there might have been like a crazy dunk from like Toby Lawau or something, but those not the non-conference playing was we kept losing, and it was just not fun to watch. It was just kind of pathetic. And like you, Will, I mean, I was not interested. And then, the Pitt game we choked. I was like, okay, maybe this team isn't the worst Power Five team as people have been saying. So, um, and Georgia Tech, like you said, I looked. They dropped their second game of the year to North Florida, which might be worse than us losing to Jacksonville. So
Yeah.
they're definitely worse than us, honestly.
And then we
Yeah.
follow
This
that
team,
game up. Go ahead.
go ahead.
I
You go
was going to
ahead,
say we
finish up
follow
the
that
second.
game up with games, I believe, at home against Clemson, who's one of the better teams in the ACC. They're 7-1 in conference, and then at
I'll probably be
FSU.
there.
Oh, nice. At FSU, that's likely 2 losses. Florida State at home would be one that maybe would run up some radars, but on the road, I don't see it. 13-5, 4-3.
Okay. I
Florida
was picturing
State's
their
I
not
football
see us
record
horrible
making a
worse.
this year.
push. I see us making a push. I don't think we're going to win that. I think both of them are winnable games, especially with this team because I mean it's got a lot of juice. There's so much young talent on this team that I'm not excited about like the future of this exact team. Like we're not going to go to the tournament. We're not even going to make the NIT. I mean I doubt.
I don't think so.
But you look down the board at guys who have looked promising this year. You look at Jaden Shute. You look at Brandon Recksteiner, Jaden Young, Tyler Johnson, Patrick Wessler, Rodney Brown, Ryan Jones. He hasn't played much, but he's been very promising when we've seen him. Toby Lawal has another year of eligibility. But the one that I really want to talk about that I really like is Ben Hammond. True freshman point guard. He is a monster. There will be a lot of SEC schools calling his phone as soon as the season is over.
I will say Rex Steiner, I think he shoots the three really well. That dude cannot stop turning the ball over. He
No,
might
he
he
sucks.
Not a
might
true
be
point
our
guard.
worst.
We're in agreement on this podcast. That Rex Steiner's ain't it.
He's not a
Sometimes he
true
gets
point
good.
guard.
Yeah.
He's short and he'll get like good three looks, but I think he might have a double double every game, as in like 10 points and 10 turnovers. Like it. I, I was like enthusiastic for him, but it's just every time.
Yeah.
It's
I mean, next year you're gonna look down the board. I know hold on just a moment. I'm gonna pull up our commitments.
I was out pretty quick on Rex Steiner even last year. Like
okay.
every time he would come in, he just did not look like the pace of the game. Just everything about him just didn't look comfortable. And I mean, you compare that to Ben Hammond this year. He's starting now for a reason.
Yeah.
And as a true freshman, he's starting over Rex Steiner, who's been in the system now for 18 months. I'm I don't know how high I am on Ben Hammond over his career. But I'm high on him over Rex Steiner, that's for sure.
I'm incredibly high on Ben Hammond over his career. Now, Rex Steiner, I agree with you. You're gonna look at him. He's not a true point guard. The issue is he's not a true shooting guard either.
No, I mean if he can turn into like a Hunter Couture type, then great.
I don't think he can.
No, I don't think he's
shooting
made
guard.
for power. I don't think he's made for Power Five basketball.
I think that he's a guy that would be for his career. Now, I like Brandon. He's a talented basketball player. I think that Mike Young can, when we have more facility, like more players to play with and talented players to plug into the system, specifically a real point guard, another real point guard. Brandon Recksteiner can be a very good basketball player, but right now he's the backup point guard because we don't have another point guard on the roster because of what happened with what's his name from Tulane.
Hyzier Miller.
Yeah, Hyzier Miller.
Temple.
But the Hokies have two 4-star commits in Christian Gerdak and Sincere Jones. They've both signed. I like what I've seen from both of them on film. I couldn't remember their names.
Are they
I thought we had a
25 or
point guard
26?
too. They're 25.
He'll be 25. Yep.
We might have a. Do we have a 26 commit? I'll check that really quick. I don't.
don't
We
think
don't.
so.
But yeah, we have those two. But when you look at it, you're gonna want. I mean, you can already start looking at the portal because I mean, you can scrap this season. We're not good. Westler will probably start next year. What did you say?
Have you looked at the schedule for the rest of the year?
No.
There's a lot of bad teams on there.
UVA.
I just did
We're
it.
winning the ACC.
No,
That's it.
no, 500.
I'm
500 is the goal.
But
So I
I
just
mean, we're
went.
not gonna. Go ahead.
I just went through the schedule and the wins that I have. So we have Georgia Tech, who's 2-6, 2-6, counting that as a win.
What?
UVA, who's horrible. We play them twice. Notre
We'll
Dame,
win at
who
least one of those.
I think we win both. UVA
I
is
do
bad.
think-
I hope.
Dude,
Notre Dame, not good. That's a win. And these are all like, hopefully. We also play BC, 1-6 in conference, bad.
get
We
Miami
play
again?
Miami again, who is
Bad.
winless in conference. Yep,
Yes.
0-7. And then we also play Syracuse, who is right where Virginia Tech is. That game is, if that's in Blacksburg, that would be helpful. It is in Blacksburg. They're
And
not.
then-
They're 9-9 and 3-4.
And then we have a stretch here where I'm sorry to cut you off. We have a stretch where we play Notre Dame, UVA, Boston College, and Miami. That could be 4-0. And then you bring in a, as of now, ranked Louisville team. That, with momentum, get some juice behind us, get us a ranked win in the worst season that we've had in a decade.
So yeah, I have it as GT, UVA, Notre Dame, UVA, Boston College, Miami, Syracuse as wins. They're teams who are either at or below us in conference, and the one that's at with us in conference is at home. And then losses to Florida State, Clemson, SMU, Louisville, UNC, and Clemson again.
Yeah.
That's 10-10 in conference.
We not play
I mean,
SMU?
We
We
do
do.
play SMU. I
So
put them as a
that's
loss. Yeah, they're 5-2 in conference, and I'm just looking at schedules. I mean, their standings. I haven't watched a whole lot of basketball to know who we actually like match up well against or anything. Haven't been that into basketball this year, but yeah, going strictly off of schedules, off of records so far, we play a lot of teams at the bottom of the conference coming home.
Yeah. And I mean, you can start looking at like what the needs are that we need to fill holes next year. You want a backup point guard. I think I don't want Ben Hammond to not start next year. I think you just want to go get like a really decent point guard from a G5, who can come in and just facilitate and like a Wabisa Beatty type. Like you don't need someone who's gonna score the ball. Just a guy who can pass it, not turn it over, and play decent defense. And a big man, and I like where we're at next year. You have
We
a
need
lot.
a
I mean,
healthy
you're great on wing, huh?
We need a healthy center because
Pat Wessler's going to start at center, I believe.
We haven't had a true center in 15 years.
the thing with Pat Wessler,
Keve Aluma was a center.
if Pat Wessler wasn't 7 foot tall, he wouldn't be like. If he was 5 inches shorter, I don't think he'd be playing college basketball. Like his actual I'm not convinced on his actual skill, like personally.
Well, I mean, you look at a lot of 7-footers, and you can say the same thing about them.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm hopeful for him. We just for the reason that Virginia Tech hasn't had very much for contributing 7-footers in a long time. Oh, we lost Josh for a second. But yeah, so we'll see about that. There he is. Oh, we can't hear you now. Nope. At the top, you have the little mic button, and then there's a drop down. You have to choose which one. There you go. Oh, no, we lost you. We had you.
There we go. Can you hear me now?
There you go.
Yeah,
we got you.
There we go. Okay.
Cool. So yeah, all I was saying is that the Patrick Wessler, I'm rooting for him just because Tech hasn't had a contributing true 7-footer in.
I want him to be good. Obviously, I mean, he's huge, but
Yeah, and that take that you said about being 5 inches shorter, I don't like that because Nikola Jokic was 5 inches shorter, he wouldn't be in the NBA.
I mean, he can shoot the ball pretty well.
He can shoot the ball pretty well, but there's a lot of people who can shoot the ball pretty well.
That's true.
So that's just looking for a reason to say that he's not ready. I think he can start. He's 7 foot, and how often has the offense ran through a center with Mike Young? He runs through the power forward.
That's true.
He runs through the Justin Mutts. It'll be Tyler Johnson next year that
How
the
often
offense
has
runs through.
Virginia Tech run through a big guy under Buzz Williams or James Johnson or Seth Greenberg? Like Tech's been guard heavy for as long as I can remember, which is I've probably been watching basketball closely longer than I have been football, and Tech's just undersized. Like, I mean, Zach Leday was the big guy on the team for 2 or 3 years, and he was 6'7", 6'8". We get the stretch 4
against Miami.
Yeah, we get the stretch 4 that's 6'7", 6'8", that plays bigger. We've had plenty of those.
Yeah, Virginia Tech lives and dies by the 3.
Yeah, that's just Virginia Tech for the last 15 years. Which I remember playing Florida State 2 or 3 years ago when they had like 5 guys over 7 foot, and even their guards were like 6'6". Like,
yeah, Hunter Couture had like 25 and a lot of threes, and that was Sean Padulla's coming out game. I know that was the year we won the ACC championship, the game where we really turned it around.
That 175 dude is like 280 or something. I think he's died since, and I don't remember why, but yeah. What was his name?
Yeah, I like Poteet, but just like the injuries and stuff. That's what I've heard.
But it's
chronic pain or something like that. So.
Yeah, and with the big man, you really put him out there for rebounding. If you throw, I mean, you'll want one more big man, maybe a starter. But I think Wessler can start at center because, I mean, you'll be able to throw out Pat Wessler and Tyler Johnson. Those are 2 solid rebound. Johnson's a fantastic rebound. Johnson's one of the best rebounders I've ever seen. And he's 6'5", 6'6", maybe. Let me check. He's listed at 6'5". He's maybe the best rebounder inch for inch, pound for pound that I've ever seen in my life. And then Pat Wesley throw a 7-footer out there, that'll help. Ryan Jones is a decent rebounder.
Does Rodney Brown have any eligibility left?
I think
2 more years after this one.
Yeah,
because he looks good.
He played very well against Cal, I think.
Yeah, his plus minus is good.
He's one that I know. I don't. He must have been hurt or something early in the year.
He was hurt at the beginning of the year. Yeah.
He did not play, and when he came in, it was stark, the difference.
Yeah, he's a very good guard for us. He shoots the ball really well. He's played now in 13 games and shooting 43% from the 3. Better from 3 than he is from the field.
Yeah, good ball player.
Speaking of, you said like
a lot of Darius Maddox.
Said living and dying by the 3. I feel like our playing in the paint has been not better than usual, but like I feel like we've been a little more balanced this year
because we don't have many good ball. We don't have point guards that we can run the offense. We don't have passes we can run the offense through right now.
Yeah.
I'm saying Hammond develop and go get a backup point guard. It'll be, and also the best player on the team is Toby Lau, who is a 4.
And is he a sophomore? No, he's a junior.
He's a junior. He has eligibility left. 4 of the 5 starters, to my knowledge, have eligibility left. It's not Petit. It's okay. Who started left? Hammond, Young. I don't know who started. Did Rodney Brown start? No, Shoot didn't start.
Yeah, no, he didn't.
Ben Burnham. It's Hammond, Young, Burnham, Petit, and Lawal, and 3 of them have eligibility. Burnham does not have any more eligibility.
Yeah.
I found the Florida State guy, Michael Ojo. He was 7'1", 310.
Stop.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
He played back in like 2015, 2016.
And you said he
Good
passed
Lord.
away.
He did, yeah, 2020. I was right about
That's
that.
unfortunate.
Yeah. Yeah, he was a freak. Like I remember him 10 years ago playing for Florida State. And that team was ridiculous.
Mismatch. Yeah.
All right, what do y'all have on women's basketball? I know kind of the big news. They beat Florida State on Liz Kitley jersey retirement day.
It was Louisville.
Louisville, sorry. And yeah, that I think I knew this, but they I saw something on Twitter. 3-time ACC Women's Player of the Year, not first team All Conference, not All Conference. Player of the Year. What she was the best player in the conference 3 years in a row. I mean,
She's the best ACC basketball player ever.
yeah, that's
There's
probably
one
very
other.
defensible.
There's one other debate. I don't remember her name. She was also a 3-time. Oh, it's the head coach for South Carolina.
Dawn Staley.
Don Staley.
Don Staley. Yeah, she was also a 3-time ACC Player of the Year. But Liz Kitley was a monster, and I'm very happy that I got to watch her. But this team is 14-3. And it's in its first year under
Megan Duffy.
Man, I'm just not having a good night. But I'm really high on them. I know that a lot of these girls have eligibility left, I believe. Let's see. I think there's 2 that have played, according to ESPN. I'm looking at the stat sheet. 2 that have played that do not have any eligibility after this year.
Is that Lonnie White? Is she old?
No, Lonnie White has eligibility. It's Rose Mishaw and Matilda Eck.
Oh.
Okay. Yeah. Let me verify that. I know Ramaya White has eligibility. Yeah, everyone but the 2 have eligibility. And, I mean, this team's not bad. This team, I think, will make the tournament. I'm not certain on that, obviously. Cause, I mean,
do y'all follow
they're
women's
on the
basketball
bubble
pretty closely, or no?
I haven't this year,
Okay.
mostly because of work, and I follow men's basketball and football pretty heavily. But I typically do.
Fair enough.
This team's not bad.
No, I was at the
I
Louisville
think it'll
game.
make the tournament. I almost went. I ended up going out of town, but this team is talented and young, and I'm really high on what Megan Duffy has brought to the table. Next year is going to be a good year for them, and
bringing a couple good recruits.
Yeah, bringing in a few good recruits. I think that they'll be just on the right side of the bubble. If not, they'll be in the NIT and one of the best teams in the NIT, in the women's NIT. Come next year. Just not much else to say on that.
Yeah, so I went to the Louisville game. First of all, it was probably the best crowd they've had all year. Like, I mean, even for being on break, like Liz Kitley Day, everybody showed up. It was a fantastic crowd, environment, all that. But I mean, it's hard to take over a team with so many people who left. And I think you're doing a great job. They shot really well, but their rebounding was not good. So maybe they need some lessons from Tyler Johnson and Toby Lowell. But I'm really proud of them. They're doing great.
They're looking at about 13-7 ish in conference, somewhere around in there. They play. They go to 20th ranked NC State. They host 3rd ranked Notre Dame. They go to 13th ranked UNC, and they host 22nd ranked California. Other than that, Pitt's near the bottom of the conference. SMU's near the bottom of the conference. Say with Syracuse. They did lose to Virginia at home, so that could be another loss. Stanford's near the bottom of the conference. Clemson's near the bottom of the conference. And
did you see what
Boston College is right
to
around
SMU?
what Tech is? Who did to SMU?
Pitt.
Women's?
Yeah.
That was crazy.
It was, I think, 49 to like 17 or 18 or something like that at half, and then Pitt came out in third quarter and outscored SMU 28-0
Huh.
in the third quarter, and then outscored them in the fourth 26-10 to outscore them in the final half 54-10.
Did you see what the SMU men did?
No, I did
Was
not.
that beating UVA? That buzzer beater?
No. Well, yeah, they did
Oh.
that. They did do that, but then they beat Miami 117
Oh yeah.
to 74.
I'm so glad we were able to beat Miami because it would be a completely different, like,
Oh, yeah.
you know, like we
60,
would.
60 to 26 at halftime.
Good Lord.
Yep, and then put up a measly 57 in the second half. Yep.
That's-
But, is that all that we have?
Yeah, I think so. We're an hour and a half in.
Fair enough.
So I think we're good. Next time we'll hit. We'll catch up with football. I'm sure we'll have some more commits by then. We'll talk. Hopefully, we'll have a defensive coordinator. We'll have more men's basketball. We'll have more women's basketball, and then we'll maybe look at a baseball preview, and we'll talk wrestling too.
Yeah, we'll. I'll try to have that baseball write-up done by the end of the week.
Cool. Sounds good.
Awesome.
All right. Well, yeah. Hit us with likes. Hit us with follows. I'll have everybody's Twitter @s in the Twitter post. And we'll see y'all next time.